When you're tired of all the choices out there and you don't know what to do, you can kick back and watch Tall Guy Eric Reviews.
Hey guys, Tall Guy Eric back with another review today. So today is a review of a monitor that I am extremely excited about. It's actually been a little bit since I put a review out on a monitor, but this is one of those monitors that I have been waiting for, and I just had to jump on it the first chance I got. Um, so this is the 32-inch, 240 hertz OLED 4K from Alienware. I ordered it as soon as they went on pre-order. I got it like 2 or 3 days after I ordered it, something like that. I got it last Saturday, so I've been using it for about a week now, and I have a lot of good things to say about this monitor. A few not so great things, but it's mostly positive, and I'll go ahead and get this out of the way. I think that if they were to push out a software update in the near future, this could be the monitor that most people could comfortably stick with for the next couple of years. So let's get into the things that are amazing about this monitor. I do have my PlayStation 5 running right now. I have done a lot of PC gaming on this as well, but I was playing some Hogwarts Legacy, so that's just what I'm going to leave running while I'm doing this review. So the things that make this monitor incredible, first and foremost, the color reproduction, the color accuracy, it's absolutely amazing. If you're a big fan of contrast and just oversaturated colors, this monitor will blow your mind. Obviously, you can tweak it to however you want to. There are a lot, and I mean a lot of different options on this monitor. It might have some of the most customization I've ever seen on a monitor. Possibly the most I've seen outside of like a TV. So that's, incredible. Like, you can adjust anything you want to however your little heart wants it. The picture quality is also one of the best things I've ever seen. It might even be better than most TVs, to be honest with you. Like, it is the first time that I have used a monitor and thought, wow, this is on the same level as like a C2 OLED TV that has, that built-in upscaling and all that sharpening. Like, this monitor is just beautiful. This is using Samsung's third generation of their QD-OLED panel. It is very vibrant. It is decently bright. I'm not going to say it's very bright. It's not, but it is decently bright. It does a decent job of handling reflections. You can actually see a few while I'm gaming right now, but I actually can't see those, funny enough. So in person, it's not as bad as it looks there. It does still have that weird purple tint that you get with the QD OLEDs. Let me turn the monitor off and see if it's pretty noticeable on camera. It's probably not going to be. Let me go ahead and turn the lights all the way up. Yeah, so it's kind of hard to see, but it is there. Like, instead of being a pitch black image, when the monitor is turned off, it has a purplish hue. And if you have a tremendous, and I mean quite a bit of ambient light in your room, you will notice it when you're gaming. The blacks aren't perfectly black. It is an upgrade from QD OLED in the past, so I will say. I've used both of the Alienware QD OLEDs. I've used the Samsung G8, and I've also used some of the TVs. And I think that this is the best implementation thus far. They really did a good job, because like right now I have my two Elgato key lights, and those things are on 30 to 50% most of the time. And even with those shining in my face and directly on my desk, blacks are perfectly black. The motion handling is absolutely insane. This is like, I think we're at the point where it's just hard to even like it's I know it can get better, but how much better can it really get? Like, I play Apex, I play Call of Duty, and Apex, I get a pretty consistent 240 FPS on my PC, and it just feels absolutely incredible. Like, I don't think I will ever need better. So that's why, for me, the 4K was the way to go, because now I'm getting that resolution and that unbelievable response time and that feeling. One thing that you do have to get used to with this monitor, and for me, it's not even remotely a deal breaker. For some people, it could be. It does have a pretty decent curve. You can't really see it, but over to my left, I actually have the. Might actually just be able to turn this. Woo! Woo! Shout out to Papa Meat. So that is the Samsung G7 Neo. I use that as my stream computer monitor. I love that monitor, and that has the most aggressive curve of any monitor ever. So going to this monitor was not a big deal for me in terms of the curve, but it is quite curved. I think that at 32 inches, it makes you feel so immersed in your games that for me, it's a plus. It doesn't have any noticeable negatives because it's not like an 800R curve. I believe this is an 1800R curve or a 1600R curve, something like that, where it's a little more curved than normal, but it's not so curved like the G7 that you're like, holy shit, why is this so curved? It's almost a circle, you know? But getting that out of the way, I have had an incredible experience with this monitor thus far. I have seen a few people with some issues that I haven't run into. Hopefully I don't run into those, but I guess there is some issues with using HDMI 2.1 on PC. I'm a DisplayPort guy when it comes to PC, so I haven't tested those, but I know some people are having issues with running 240 hertz with G-Sync over HDMI. I don't even use G-Sync, so I wouldn't run into that issue even if I use HDMI, but on console, I've not had a single issue with HDMI. HDR is incredible. It is the best HDR implementation I've seen on a monitor thus far. You have like 8 or 9 different HDR modes you can choose from, and I'll show those off real quick. So we go into settings. I just turned the power off. Whoops. This is probably just a me thing, but I do wish the monitor had a remote similar to the LG OLEDs or the Samsung G8 OLED. I apologize if I'm sniffing a bunch. It's like -2 where I live, so I've been sick for a couple days. As soon as I get this monitor back on, I'll show off those menus. There we go. So yeah, if we come into settings, you can see these are all the standard settings. We go to display, we go to smart HDR, and you have desktop, movie, game, custom, which is in my opinion the best one. Display HDR True Black, which I believe is that True Black 400, and an HDR Peak 1000. So the brightest option is the HDR Peak 1000. It is noticeably brighter than the rest of them. However, with custom color HDR, you can custom tweak it to how you want it to be, and you still get, I would say, close to 8, maybe 900 nits of brightness in certain scenes. So you're still getting the best of both worlds. But HDR is incredible. I just have so many good things to say about this monitor. I've had such an incredible experience with it so far. It is an expensive monitor, but it's not as expensive as I thought. The monitor retails for $12.99. You know, not cheap by any means, but considering what it offers, that is, I didn't mind paying it. I even paid the extra to have the shipping so I could have it as soon as possible. But you get a lot of good functionality with it. You get plenty of ports. You get 2 HDMI 2.1. I believe they're full 48 gigabits. You get a display port. It's a 1.4. I've seen a lot of people that are disappointed it's not DisplayPort 2, but as of now, unless you have one of the new Radeon GPUs, you don't get DisplayPort 2.0 anyway. The console experience on this is incredible, so if you're a console gamer, it's definitely a really nice monitor to have. Is it a little overkill? Sure. I mean, because 240 hertz, it's not going to be on console anytime soon. But you do have that overhead at least, and as of now, it is the only 32-inch 4K. It's the only 32-inch OLED period on the market. So if you're wanting a 32-inch OLED for your console, this is the way you're going to have to go anyway. Especially with the standard 16:9 aspect ratio. PC, it's an absolute joy. I mean, it just does everything you could want it to. But let's touch base on the negatives real quick before I end this review. So I do have a couple of issues with this monitor. The first, and for me, it's the thing that's really annoying. It's certainly not a deal breaker, but it is an issue. If you follow Reddit or if you've purchased any of the QD OLED monitors or even TVs, you will know that they lack a polarizing layer. And for some reason, because of this and that coating they use, or lack of coating, it makes the monitor is not only really hard to clean, but it scratches really easily. I don't know why that is, but I've just seen it so much to know that it is the case on all of them. I mean, legitimately, like both Alienwares, the Samsung, the A90K by Sony, and this guy, all of them are super hard to get correctly clean, just in normal means. Like with any other monitor, like the Samsung, I can use my spray that I got from Micro Center, a microfiber cloth, and get it perfectly clean first try. Or even my C2 or my C3 OLED, I can clean them with those at no scratches and they're perfectly clean. With this, if you even use a little bit of force, you're leaving some micro scratches all over the monitor. And then the other issue that kind of plays into that, they still ship this monitor, and this is an Alienware thing, and it's super stupid because I've left feedback. I've even went through the process of having to get monitors replaced numerous times. They ship the monitor without a plastic film over the screen, which almost all monitor manufacturers do. So it ships with that bubble wrap touching it, and a lot of people with the AWF and the AW receive their monitors with like these permanent marks all over the screen from the bubble wrap. I personally had my AW had it. All of my versions of the AWF, because I went through 3 before I finally just gave up on getting a perfect one, had some variation, some extreme, some not. And unfortunately, this is the exact same case. Mine came with, it's all over the screen, but it's mainly on the top, impressions from that bubble wrap that have scratched the screen that will not come out no matter how hard I scrub. I just reached out to Alienware. They are sending me a new one. I'm hoping that the new one's better. But in this situation, I'm not going to go through a bunch because thankfully it's not noticeable unless you're looking at certain light, and it's certainly not noticeable unless you're, like when you're gaming. But for me, for an almost $1,500 monitor, I want it to be perfect, and I don't think that's asking too much. But if the next one's not better, I'll probably just see if they're willing to give me some kind of like partial refund, which is what they did last time. And if not, I'll weigh my options from there. Because the honest truth is, as much as I want to try, or I'll probably try them, but as much as I want to get the new monitors coming out, the new 240 hertz 4K from like LG or Asus, because I know they're probably going to be brighter and have better functionality, I don't want to go back to that thick, grainy anti-glare. For some people, it doesn't bother them, and for me personally, like I don't hate it, but if I have a choice, I'm going glossy because it just looks so much better. But the very last thing that I'm going to touch on, and this is going to end the review, is there is a few software issues. Alienware launched their 27-inch, their 1440p, the 360 hertz, and they immediately issued a software update. So I'm hoping one follows for this soon because it has a couple of software issues. I talked about the HDMI one, but another one is there's a game mode on here, or a console mode. And the console mode basically sets the monitor to be like most optimized for your console. And it has some really cool functionality, and it has like a tone mapping for HDR, which looks really good. But the issue is when you go to adjust the color contrast, like how cool or warm you want the display to be, if you do anything, I mean, like if you switch inputs, if you load in or out of a game sometimes, you turn the monitor off, it resets those settings every time. I had a very similar issue on my Samsung monitor that I think finally got fixed after a long time, but I'm hoping Alienware addresses that before I decide to get another monitor, But overall, my take of this monitor is that Alienware absolutely killed it. I mean, you're getting an unbelievably impressive monitor with a gorgeous display. You have tons of USB ports. You have all the ports you could want in terms of connecting to like your consoles, your PC. You get a USB-C. I think it's a display alt. I think it's just for power delivery. I don't think it actually does like video. And then you get what is, in my opinion, the best looking monitor on the market right now. So you get a lot. And then you take all of that and you also get 3 years of burn-in protection. and that's something that not a lot of other manufacturers offer. I almost guarantee you Asus and LG will not offer that on their new monitors, so that is something to take note. If I'm spending $1,500, I want to know that I have protection. But with that, that's going to end the review. Obviously, I think if you're looking for a 32-inch 4K monitor, this is the way to go. I hope to see you guys in the next review. Have a great rest of your day.
When you're tired of all the choices out there and you don't know what to do,